right next to the bushes.
And a little bit of sink there. How about there?
Looks pretty good. That looked like a good cast. Down it goes, and it looks like you got a fish. Yes,
Ooh.
very nicely.
He's spunky.
Very nicely done here.
Heading straight for the weeds, and what I'm going to do is a little down and dirty here to try to pull him away from that.
Well, the casting made all the difference. You kept right with it, and you know, this is the reward to practicing your casting and getting better at it, is to get into a nice fish like this.
It's always a good idea, I think, to get rid of the line.
Yep. So I took a little scud this time. You switched from the betas to the scud.
I did. There are a lot of scuds in this little small creek.
Yep. And I noticed that there's still betas on the water, real small betas.
Yep. Now I'm going to try to talk this guy in here. Pretty fish.
Yes, it is.
And he doesn't want to be talked into anything, does he?
Not at all.
One of the things I find really important with landing fish is getting them out of the current.
Yep.
And they don't like the side-to-side thing.
Well, you know, in a small stream like this, you'd think it'd be easy to land fish, but it's not.
No.
Too many things can go wrong.
Aside from the other, you know, the current, they've got all the obstacles of the rocks. Let's slide him on in.
Nice brown trout.
We'll unpeel our dropper from him a little, and then you can see the scud right there on the mouth. Really pretty fish. Let me take the scud out of here.
Yep.
You use scuds a lot?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're great on rivers, aren't they?
Yep. All throughout the tailwaters of the West is the scud.
How pretty that brown is.
When you get down to November and December and January, there's not a whole lot of hatching. Today we're on the Deschutes River, and we just finished doing a segment on steelhead fishing with your partner, John Hazel. Now you're involved in an operation here on the Deschutes River. And it's a guiding operation, your partners?
We guide for trout and steelhead, and we are partners. We guide year-round. We've got a fly shop, Deschutes Angler, which is on the main street of Maupin, and we're also in the works of building a fly fishing lodge on a ranch that we have.
What makes the Deschutes River so great?
Well, what I love about it is that the fish are all wild native rainbow trout. They're very difficult to catch, so it's always a thinking game when you're out there pursuing the trout. And then we've got year-round fishing. It's open year-round. The water levels stay consistent, so we don't get the blowouts, and we can fish for steelhead from July all the way through November or December if you want to. And it's a great year-round fishery, and it's beautiful and uncrowded. That's what
now your guiding season extends from what, 1st of May, part of May, all the way to the end of November?
Well, on the river we guide May through November, and we also have a March, April, May fishery. Okay. What I'm here to talk about today is using a technique that we use in steelhead fishing. It's called Spay casting, which is a change of direction roll cast. And we like to use that technique when we're trout fishing, when we have trees and brush and things behind us that don't allow us to do other traditional types of overhead casting. Even though we know that we can do a steeple cast in many situations, perhaps we might have an overhanging tree that comes right over us while we're on the river. And this happens quite often on big, deep western rivers like the Deschutes, where you can't get out and get way away from the bank. You've got brush to contend with at all times. So what we do is, with our single-handed rod, we use techniques that we normally use a two-handed rod for. The main technique that I'm going to show you today is called the double spay cast. And what that cast is a cast where we lay the line in front of us, and we come around, make a D-loop behind our rod, and make a roll cast. And we can incorporate this cast with the single-handed rod to get the line out into the riffle or into the foam line where trout are rising, and we don't have to worry at all about all the brush and the overhanging trees and things that might be around us. So the idea behind this cast, this roll cast, is that we cannot just simply make a roll cast with a bunch of line downriver. We cannot just turn this way and make a roll cast because it all just lands in a big heap. What we need to do, we need to get our line out in front of us before we can roll it forward. So in order to do that, we lift our rod tip up, breaking most of the line tension, the surface tension of the line, and we lay that line up in front of us. From that point, we bring our rod tip back, we let a D-loop form just like on a regular roll cast, and we're able to roll it out there. Let's put that together in one smooth stroke. Put the line down river first, and what we're going to do is lift, break some surface tension, lay that line in front of us, come around, make a D-loop, and cast that line right out there into the foam where the trout are rising. And we haven't had to worry at all about any brush behind us. I'm able, with brush all around me, to put my fly out in the current where I want it. And it's a nice little technique to use. Sometimes you'll find yourself up underneath a tree and you just want to make a cast right this way. You can just put your line in front of you, pull it out in any direction that you want to go. And put the line down river. You want to make sure before you try to make any of these casts that your line is tight down river from you, and that way you'll get the tension that you need. It's almost like the elastic of a rubber band to pull the line up, let it drop in front of you, around, and make your roll cast. Oftentimes on a river like this, I can't wade out any further, and I've got trees overhanging, tall grass here. It's just going to be too hard to try to cast over my head. I'll just be stuck in the tree every time. So what I like to do is I like to bring my line up, lay it in front of me, come around, and make a roll cast into the current. And what we're using are techniques that we use in spay casting. What I like to do, let me show you how we do this. We lift the rod to break the surface tension, and we lay the fly line in front of our body here. Then we bring our rod around, we let the line load behind the rod with a D-loop, and we roll cast it out into the riffle. The circle cast is a cast that we use when we have upriver wind conditions. Anytime we have an upriver wind, we want to cast off our left shoulder. Anytime we have a downriver wind, we want to roll cast off of our right shoulder. Because when we make a roll cast, we're loading our rod right on this side of us, and if the wind's blowing, we don't want that loop of line to roll right into our face, hook us in the face. So a circle cast is for when we have an upriver wind. We simply make a counterclockwise circle, the line lands here, come around, and roll the cast out. The snake roll cast is another cast similar to a double spay, except it's all one motion, and it's a really great cast to use when you're in a tight, tricky situation. The snake roll cast is done by simply drawing a small letter E, relieve some of the pressure of the line on the water, make a small letter E, roll it out there. Okay, break some surface tension, let the line float up right next to you, come around, make a D-loop, roll it out.